Hi everyone! Last time I recorded some patches on the Moog DFAM, and today I'm breaking down a track I sketched from those samples and a few others recorded from the DFAM as well. It was quite a challenge to make a track from a single instrument, especially because DFAM only has triangle and square waves for the oscillators and the noise source. I'll play a little bit of the track first, and then I'll go through each channel and I'll explain how I process it. So let's dive in. So let's go through each track. I have a kick here, which I shortened. Initially, I wanted to make it like this. It blends better with the track like that. Let's listen to the whole low end first. this kick, put a bit of EQ on it, a little saturation, a little drive, just at the beginning of the kick to emphasize the transient a little bit. Look. Let's take all the processing off. Sounds like this without processing. Maybe I should modify the threshold a little bit so that it reduces only like a couple of dB. Alright, then I have the bass. No, this is the sub. This is the bass pattern. And I also have a sub that plays only some of those notes. I made it so that it plays when the kick doesn't. Also, I used a bit of reverb on the bass and a bit of delay. Let's play the low end without the delay and the reverb. Bring the reverb and the delay. This sub, I think, is the same sample as the bass, only played one octave below. It sounds like this without processing. Like this with processing, so a bit of saturation. So I use the Pro L2 with some clipper settings, so it shaves a little bit of the peaks. I use a bit of a limiter and an EQ to make this almost like a sine wave, so it doesn't have upper harmonics because I have an upper bass. This is a sidechain to the kick, which is not needed because I deleted the notes that were playing at the same time as the kick, and a bit of compressor. Let's see how it sounds. Alright, and the bass. Let's see how I process the bass. It sounds like this. Let's stop the delay. Let me turn them on one by one. Saturation. A bit of R bass. More saturation. Sidechain to the kick. And a bit of EQ. Alright, let's see what we have in the drums. The snare is like this. This is like the body of the snare. The body was like this. Bit of EQ, saturation, shaper box with a volume envelope, and a bit of drive to accentuate the transient. And that's it. The noise. So I delete this. I'll just leave this one. Alright, so that was the clap or snare, or it's somehow in between. Let's go to the hats. So I have an open hat. that sounded like this, very harsh, a bit of compression, bit of EQ, saturation, saturation again. I drove this really hard. And we have some other hats here, like this, and not a lot of processing, just a bit of compression and some auto pan, like random. And here we have the 16 hats. Let me unfreeze this. These hats are, I took a long sample of hats recorded from the DFAM and I put the sample in the slice mode and I wrote a few different notes, so every time it triggers a different note, every time it hits a different note, it triggers a different sample, a different slice, so it sounds different every time. Then I have some LFO here mapped on the fade in, fade out, to make them move a bit more. And this LFO is just modulating this filter a little bit. A bit of a transient shaper to increase the attack. Some EQ. Yeah, I used a bit of spaced out, but I'm gonna remove it. And a bit of auto pan. And that's it. Here are some plugs. For these plugs, I used this long sample. I sliced it up, chose a few sounds, and then transposed them so that they are in key. This is how they sound. A bit of compression and a bit of EQ, nothing more. Here I have some kind of plugs as well. This I just put the sample as I recorded it and just cut a little bit from it. I did not modify anything, just a bit of track spacer, side chaining to the kick. I don't know why I did that, but it's working. That's it. Let's go to the leads. It's starting like this. So here are some power chords, but the bottom note I transposed it one octave up. So you see it's missing this one, but I also transposed this. I did the same with every other one. Let me just deactivate all the processing so you can hear how it sounds without. I think this is the same sample that I used for those plugs. It's this one. And yeah, just detuned it a little bit to be in key. Bit of saturation, EQ, spaced out. I chose a step down sweep preset here. I just modified the rhythm. And here a bit of track spacer to sidechain it to the hard lead that's below, so that when this plays, this one ducks a little bit. And a bit of EQ. It was a bit too harsh in this area, so I ducked those frequencies down dynamically a little bit. So let's see how these notes sound without any processing. Here I just wrote different melodies for different sections. This one is the same lead, I think, or no? No, this is a bit different. I don't know where I cut this one from. I won't waste any more time trying to search so I can show you where I cut it from, but I think it's this one, because the waveform is very similar. Let's see. Yeah, I think it was this sample. I cut a small splice, and let's see how I processed it. Let me deactivate everything. Decapitator, EQ. I have no idea what I did here. I think I'll just remove it. Spaced out. And a bit of track spacer to duck when the other lead comes in. So nothing very complicated. Then I have this hard lead, which is the same sound but processed a bit differently. Is this sample? Yeah, I think it's from here as well, one of these. And let's hear just one of them. Normally it wouldn't sound like this, but what I did, I automated the loop length. You see, here the loop length is 100%, but here it creates this ratcheting effect because the loop is, look, it's very short at the beginning and it keeps repeating itself because it's on loop. I have here activated the loop where the mouse is. So if the note is this long and the sample is this short, while playing this it will repeat as many times. The automation makes it different along the note. Here loop 100%, here automated loop. Should be the same thing on this one. It's the same lead, it's just a bit more reverb and processed a bit differently. A few OTTs. Let's see the first one. Let me deactivate everything. Sounds horrible like this without processing. Let me activate it one by one. Decapitator. Chorus. Reverb. Saturation. I pushed it really hard. A bit of EQ. And another EQ. That's it. And the other one, the same thing, only it has some 3 OTTs on it, a bit more EQ, a bit of erosion, and yeah, an LFO that is modulating. What is it modulating? It's modulating the output of this OTT. Together sounds like this. This one doesn't have to be here. This is recorded from the DFAM as well is one of those samples, but I think I sliced it up and pitched the notes individually. This one goes right here after the drop. I just used some M auto pitch to pitch it to the F minor scale. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's close. A super VHS, which is, I have a bit of modulation on the hit and drift parameters, and a filter freak. Here in the break I have another sample recorded from the DFAM. I just quantized it. That's pretty much it. I didn't do anything to it. A bit of drive. Let's turn off everything. Go one by one. Drive. Time. Filter. This is actually the drive time super preset from Shaperbox, but I modified it a little bit because I can see the star here, so but I can't remember exactly what I adjusted. Sounds very nice to my ears. Let's hear it with the whole track. This lead, I think, should be much lower. Here, effects. I have this sample, which is this one, but I think, yeah, I reversed it from the patch Fire in the Wind from last time. I took that noise and reversed it as well, and some brushes, and the last thing is these chords. For these chords I pulled one of the big samples in CR8 sampler and chose a little bit, just a very short sample, and I looped it. So it's basically like a wavetable. I put it in loop mode, activated this, so it goes from front to back. A bit of modulation here on the cutoff and the drive of the filter. And yeah, this is pretty much it. I forgot to show you how I designed the return channels. So I have a bit of delay. I automated the delay time, and yeah, I also have a shifter delay here, which is the same delay but goes through a shifter plugin. That sounds like this. And yeah, the bass delay. Bass delay is just like this. Bit of delay, bit of vinyl distortion, an EQ to cut the lows. Here I check to see if I'm phasing, and I am a little bit. I mean, quite a lot, but it sounds okay. Let's try to sum it to mono to see if it works. So for the end, I'm gonna play a little bit of the track again. Alright, that's it. See you next time.